Welcome in. This is Weather Unfiltered. Tonight, keeping a very close eye on the potential for tropical development off the southeast coast. Rain absolutely drenching that area right now.
Yeah, we're going to break it all down for you. Well, we're not, but our hurricane expert, Dr. Rick Knabb, we're going to pepper him with questions. I'm Alex Wilson here with Mike Bettis. And of course, Dr. Knabb, you got a lot to cover today.
Yeah, and one of the water problems is going to be onshore flow into the East Coast, making beaches and boating dangerous, even if we don't get a tropical system to form. But we've been dealing with this just off the southeast coast wannabes like every week since the end of June.
Yeah, why should this week be any different, right? You see the area of interest on the left-hand side of your screen there. On the right-hand side, all the rain that's still to come on top of what we already had.
Yeah, so the flash flood concern is certainly there. Interior spots of the portions of North Dakota and South Dakota as we go through the next several hours. In effect until 10 o'clock local time. This is Pierre and Aberdeen and Bismarck. So I-94 almost to I-90 there in South Dakota. A lot of the storms, though, have been focused up into the North Dakota side of the story, either side of 94, but a lot of these just over the South Dakota state line. Storms firing, and they are quickly turning severe. So up towards Jamestown, we've got some heavy rain, but the severe weather is to the south and west of you. We've got Lemoore, Logan, and McIntosh counties under the severe thunderstorm warning until 5:30. Notice there's also a severe warning to the west of Jamestown. Closer look at that one. Kidder and Stutzman counties, Pettibone and Walters and Woodworth would be a few of the communities in the path of this one. This is moving away from the interstate, but we've got more storms building, and obviously what we've got down in the southeast part of North Dakota is going to continue to lift north closer to the interstate. So keep that in mind for your travels this evening. Now, areas to the north and west of Sioux Falls, we got a little action, more in the way of widespread rain through parts of northern and western Minnesota. Future radar showing things really get going across central South Dakota by about the mid-evening. I think we get through the dinner time hours and then things take off. Those storms continue to Fargo down towards Winter. Sioux Falls and Marshall could get in on some thunderstorms during the late evening, really the overnight hours, probably between midnight and 3 a.m. for some of these communities. Storms continue to move off towards the south and east. Omaha looking at a stormy start to the day tomorrow. Could be a morning commute issue for you guys, not just with the potent thunderstorms, but also with the very, very heavy rain that I know leads to plenty of problems as you're out trying to make your way to work on time. Tomorrow, severe chances down towards Omaha and Kansas City. Of course, with that overnight and into the morning threat, we'll be watching, northern Missouri, but Minneapolis, Duluth, Sioux Falls, Sioux City, and again, portions of South Dakota and Nebraska will be in play for that active weather. So we look at our disturbances tracking eastward through the same areas. So it's day after day with these storm threats in a lot of these areas. Even Friday, we've got a more potent system that moves in. Friday already highlighting areas from South and North Dakota to northwest Minnesota for a stronger risk of those big-time thunderstorms, Mike.
All right, Alex, thank you very much for that.
It hasn't just been a California story. You can see all of the active fires and where we're expecting rain over the next 7 days. Limited to the Pacific Northwest, the extreme northern tier, very little coming across sections of the Four Corners region, with the exception of some into Colorado and New Mexico. Maybe a few blips of rain into sections of Arizona, but California, Nevada, Utah, western Colorado, parts of Oregon and Idaho, nothing expected with rain in the next week. Red flag warnings, thus, they continue through tomorrow for portions of Nevada and Utah and Colorado and Wyoming. So plenty of spots, including the Salt Lake City area, Grand Junction, Colorado, Casper, Wyoming. These would be areas where the risk for fire is going to be a little higher. So keep that in mind when you're doing, activities, whether it's anything that can create a spark. So whether you're driving, you're doing work, working with machinery, you have to think about that risk of fire. Keep that in mind when making these decisions. Relative humidity forecasts, they are down into the single-digit percentage range. Vegas, Cedar City, Salt Lake City, and Elko. So that's been this afternoon. Through the overnight, going up a bit, but look at tomorrow afternoon. 5% in Salt Lake City, 7% in Vegas. Again, 8% in Elko. That's exceptionally dry air here across sections of the west. And the high temperatures are also high. So it's hot and it's dry. As you can imagine, that would be a less than ideal combination when it comes to trying to prevent fires. 109 the high tomorrow in Vegas, 116 in Phoenix, 100 in Salt Lake City. Remember, we've got those extreme heat warnings in effect for many spots. Tomorrow, also expecting records, including Phoenix. The current record is 114. Tucson, 111 would break your record. Yuma, 116 would break a record for you. And Roswell, New Mexico, the forecast is 106. The record is 107. So, Mike, I think we're going to be very close to maybe tying that one.
Sure looks like it, right? So hot.
Now to the ballpark for your game day forecast presented by T-Mobile. It is the Rangers versus the Yankees, and it's a theme night. We're throwing it back to the powder blue jerseys of the 70s. Of course, they've got the roof to keep it comfortable inside. Making your way to the ballpark, maybe hot. You may work up, right, a thirst. So get yourself a nice treat. Maybe one of like those frozen ballpark treats. Make sure you get water too, though. Hydrate. Remember, not just booze. Temps in the 90s, cooling to the upper 80s by late game. Well, here on Weather Unfiltered, we love a good shelf cloud right off the coast of North Carolina. Look at that thing. You have to pan. It doesn't fit in all one picture.
Like 9 by 16, or what do we call it these days? Yeah, it does not there.
Somebody, you would have had to take a panorama if you were just trying to get a solo shot of this.
That's really cool stuff. I mean, like perfectly delineated there, the shelf cloud. Well done.
And then you can see the rain behind it. Quite a bit of rain across sections of the southeast. So even here in studio, it's like you make it rain to feel like you're inside or outside. Like when I was outside today, I went for a walk and it was raining, so I was just like, I just may as well make myself more comfortable in studio. I'm used to walking around in the rain.
We could do that. We love to make it rain here at the Weather Channel. You're probably saying, well, I want you to stop making it rain.
Yeah.
Because a little bit, I mean, like 3 or 4 days in a row is like a bit much.
Some people do, like, and I don't want to like yuck someone's yum, but like honestly, I still like this way better than the heat. I know, Nab, you came in and you said, I want to get rid of this. I don't want it anymore. Enough. I still think I'd take it. I still think I'd take it.
I'm over it. I can turn the AC on just to get a little bit of sunshine.
But it's too hot.
Well, look, guys, I had to decide today. Would I rather live in Miami or Seattle? And I would take Miami every time.
I thought you were going to say Tulsa.
Yeah. He's like,
halfway in between.
In the middle. I'm going to North Platte.
Well, Tulsa would be safe from hurricanes.
There you go.
For the most part. For the most part.
Now,
I feel like look at what's been happening in the tropics, of course. Waves off of Africa, and it's that time of year where we have to watch that.
Yeah, and so we want to update you that there's a 50-50 shot of this East Atlantic wave developing sometime over the next week in the central Atlantic. But, Alex, the irony is that on this date, 2004, the wave that led to the formation of Hurricane Charlie was in about the same spot. Just goes to show you that we are now entering that time of the year that when I get to August, I start to think about, okay, we're coming up on the anniversary of this hurricane, that hurricane. The first one in August I think of is Charlie. It was pretty early in the month.
Yeah, it's not just you, it's not just Floridians, because we look back at the month of August, and there are a few very impactful hurricanes, ones that people would remember the anniversary of.
So I picked out the 5 that I first remember when I think of August. And, of course, here's Charlie making landfall in southwest Florida. But all 5 that I can think of first all waited to become hurricanes until they were pretty close to the continental U.S. That, again, is another way that these waves can get us by waiting to form, and they stay south, they go west.
Yeah.
After Charlie, the next anniversary that comes to my mind is Camille, August 17th.
Yeah, that one, of course, 20 years ago on August 29th, a storm, you know, folks in New Orleans and Louisiana remember, Mississippi as well, but folks all across the country, I think, captivated by this one.
Yeah, it did make a Cat 1 landfall in Florida, but the August 29th landfall in Louisiana is the big date we remember. So the reason to bring this up is we got to get real in our hurricane preparation.
Staying with us here for Weather Unfiltered, and tonight we're keeping a very close eye on the potential for tropical development off the southeast coast, and rain absolutely drenching that area right now.
Yeah, we're going to break it all down for you. Also, a tropical wave out into the Atlantic. We are watching. Our hurricane expert, Dr. Rick Knabb, keeping a very close eye on both of those.
So the potential for tropical development off the southeast coast. It seems like we keep saying the same thing week after week after week this summer.
You've seen this film before.
Yep, but there is a little added wrinkle. Not only is there the potential for development off the southeast coast, in actually a couple of places, the models haven't figured out where, but what happens to this area could affect where the East Atlantic wave ultimately goes. It truly is all connected.
All right, well, there you have it. So we've got to watch one to get answers on the other. But, you know, that's why we've got you to help us work through it all, because everyone's going, well, wait, what? Yeah. That one's going to, is it following it? Not necessarily.
But it's that time of year where now the Atlantic Basin starts to get a lot more active, right? So a lot of things to keep our eyes on, of course. Now, a lot of rain, some flash flooding across the southeast.
Bridge Pier in South Dakota, and then up towards Bismarck and the I-94 corridor in the state of North Dakota. I don't think storms stop there. We've already got some thunderstorm activity edging closer to the eastern flank of this zone. Places like Fargo and northern Minnesota could see some of those stronger storms into the late evening and overnight. We've got a tornado warning off to the south of 94, just north of the South Dakota state line. This is southern North Dakota. It's Dickey and McIntosh counties. Until 6:30, your tornado watch is in effect, or tornado warnings in effect, right around Spring Valley currently. Also looking at Whitestone and the community of German. Very, very heavy rain. There's also a severe thunderstorm warning for this area because of the threat of hail. There's your area of rotation right around Spring Valley. This is moving off to the north and east. So this is going to be moving towards Whitestone right now over 56. Eventually Potsdam, currently not under the warning, but if it is continued, Potsdam, you would be down the line along with the Highway 281 there. So Dickey, Lemoore, and McIntosh counties under the severe thunderstorm warning. This is a considerable threat because of the hail potential. So we've got ping pong ball to egg-sized hail out of this storm. When we get to considerable levels, that tells us the hail is either larger than quarter size, or we've got winds to 70 miles an hour instead of 60. Now, sometimes you can get both, but this one has been bringing some hail, and Ashley, a lot of half-inch size hail and almost 2 inches of rain. So the rain is absolutely thundering with this, and then there's a good bit of hail. That hail size is going up. Could get some gusty winds out of this storm as well. Now, eastern parts of Wyoming, southwestern South Dakota, we've got a few severe thunderstorm warnings there, but watch as things really get going into the central part of South Dakota by mid to late evening. Again, Fargo area could be spicy during the overnight hours, 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. But look at these storms going down towards Sioux City and even Omaha for the morning drive. So your morning commute could be affected by storms and torrential rainfall in places like Omaha. That's going to slow you down. Keep that in mind for your Wednesday morning drive. Tomorrow, we have severe weather possible from South Dakota and Nebraska through Minnesota, Iowa, and northern Missouri, even extreme western parts of the state of Wisconsin. But then we've got more disturbances rolling through these areas. And by late week, a strong disturbance starts to edge in. This is already bringing a highlight of Friday's severe chances for parts of the Dakotas and also parts of Minnesota. So Storm Prediction Center already saying, hey, given the strength of that disturbance, it's this area that we've got to watch, including Fargo. But I'm telling you all about the heat. It's exceptionally dry, and we know that is a combination that brings the risk of fires. Each and every one of these icons where we've got active fires burning, rain to come over the next 7 days. For many spots, absolutely nothing. We do have a little bit of rain coming to the Pacific Northwest, the interior spots of Montana and northern Idaho, maybe a little bit into Colorado and New Mexico as well. But for most areas, there's not going to be any help or relief from the heat or the dry. Now, red flag warnings are in effect for parts of Nevada, Utah, Colorado, and Wyoming. This includes parts of the Salt Lake City metro area. These in effect today through tomorrow. And here's the reason why, partly in fact, what am I trying to say? Partly due to the extremely dry air. We've got relative humidity values into the low teens, even single digits. Elko, Nevada, 9% relative humidity, 4% in Vegas. Now, those numbers, as usual, go up during the overnight hours, but they'll plummet again tomorrow afternoon. You can see 6 o'clock on Wednesday, 5% in Salt Lake City, 6% Casper, 7% Vegas, 8% in Elko. We've got 10% in Tucson and Phoenix and Albuquerque, 11% in Denver, Cedar City 14%. So that air is exceptionally dry and temperatures are very hot. That combo of heat and humidity not going to help mitigate any kind of concerns about fires. Las Vegas forecast high tomorrow 109, 116 what we're going for in Phoenix. That would set a daily record. The current record for tomorrow 114. Again, forecast is 116. Expecting a record break in Tucson and in Yuma, Roswell, New Mexico. I think you'll be within a few degrees of the record, may not get there, but still 105 tomorrow. So we got to think about that fire danger in a lot of areas and make those extreme heat warnings also continue for some.
All right, so one part of the state.
Baseball forecast, still the dog days of summer. Boys of summer still very much in the season, although getting closer and closer to postseason. The Blue Jays, they are taking on the Rockies. Coors Field is the location. Tomorrow, 1:10 is game time. Now, it's going to be hot. Remember, very, very dry, so make sure you've got, like, the chapstick with you because that air going to be really, really dry with temps in the 90s, all caps, sunscreen, you need all that. In Fenway Park in Boston, the Royals are in town from Kansas City. This one's going to be a comfortable one. Not as much sunshine, more clouds than that. And then we've got those east winds keeping temperatures in the low 70s and 60s. All right, this is truly a pan left, or no, I guess they're panning right, shelf cloud. It's not one that you can't get just a picture. You got to really break out your photography skills.
Yeah, this is not a 4x3. You're not like Instagramming this one, unless of course you're going to take a video of it, which is what they did here. What a shot in Wilmington, the big rain shaft that came along with it. The issues have been along the Carolinas, storm after storm after storm.
Yeah, plenty of rain for sections of the southeast. Cool temperatures for many, and the rain's even here in the studio too, just to make us feel a little bit more comfortable, make us feel a little bit more like outside.
Right. It's chilly in this studio. What do we do to the air conditioning?
I don't know, but it's too cold. I'm going to lose a finger by now.
I usually really like it cold.
Yeah.
I'm a little chilly, I will admit.
It's too cold. I'm glad I wore sleeves today. Dr. Nab, we talked about how cool it's been outside. So
He's in a parka. Nice. Weather Unfiltered, thanks for being with us. We're keeping a really close eye on the potential for tropical development off our southeast coast in a place where it's done nothing but rain for days now.
Yeah, so much wet weather. It's not the only thing we're watching in the tropics either. Our hurricane expert, Dr. Nab, you've got your eyes on a few things.
Yeah, and this mess off the southeast coast makes me think of, guys ever gone into your garage or a closet or a room and it's a mess and you look around and you go, where is everything going to go? That's what I feel like about this mess off the southeast coast. It's like trying to clean up my garage. The model's throwing things everywhere. Somebody's got to come in and say, all right, enough. Let's get this sorted out.
How do I organize it? And if I put this there, where does that go? One of those situations. And so we're going to break that down for you. Of course, Dr. Nab keeping a close eye on everything. And of course, with all the rain that we've seen, we're still watching for the concern of flooding and flash flooding across the southeast.
Well, we've seen that play out in a few places. Places like Charlotte, North Carolina have been hit hard by some heavy rain here over the last.
For sections of North Dakota, around and south of I-94, and then South Dakota. This includes Pierre and areas to the north and east. Right now, it's right along the state line where we're seeing most of the activity. So north of Aberdeen, we've got 2 severe thunderstorm warning zones, and then we've also got a flash flood warning, another flash flood warning up along I-94. So we've got Dickey County under the severe thunderstorm warning, tornado possible tag with this, and a considerable threat. So we're dealing with upping the ante on your basic severe thunderstorm warning, the 60-mile-an-hour winds, the quarter-size hail. So these storms are either going to bring you a 70-mile-an-hour wind or hail in that ping-pong to egg size. Back in McPherson, same issue there. Considerable threat with this and a tornado possible. So likely seeing some larger hail out of these. Observed flash flooding in Dickey and McIntosh counties on the back edge of this. These rainfall rates have also been very, very intense. Very strong wind gusts also a possibility out of these storms. Up into northern Montana, northeastern Montana, we've got a storm there, well into southwestern South Dakota. So they're scattered about, but this is the area to really watch. We're going to see things build back in towards the Pierre area, even down into the south central part of the state. Those storms continue to move south overnight. Our storms also affecting sections of Minnesota, southeast South Dakota, and then even places like Omaha. You guys get clipped into the morning hours tomorrow with some of those stronger storms and very heavy downpours. Obviously less than ideal timing with it coming right during that morning commute. So be aware of that. Maybe give yourself a little extra time to get to work on time and safely. Tomorrow, severe weather chances, not overly high, lower end risk, but still severe weather possible into spots in Minnesota and Wisconsin, South Dakota, Nebraska, Iowa, and northern Missouri, extreme northeastern parts of Kansas as well. Through the rest of the week, though, more disturbances tracking eastward, and so we've got more opportunities for storms, including the late week when we've got a stronger disturbance moving in. This is already being highlighted by the Storm Prediction Center for Friday, so chances of severe weather for the Dakotas and also Minnesota to end our week, Mike.
One thing that's been very interesting around
Well, wouldn't you look at this? Off the North Carolina coast, a shelf cloud. Massive. This thing doesn't fit in frame. No, you got a pan.
Big old rain shaft coming out of this one. We've seen this play out, though, quite a bit in the Carolinas the last few days.
A lot of areas in the southeast. It's been rain, and a little bit more rain. Oh, and also a little cool, too, for
all
you.
Those things. Coming off of what was an incredibly hot and dry July, now we have this.
Yeah, I mean, temperatures in the 60s and 70s for many. So we brought the rain into the studio to make Dr. Nab feel a little bit more at home.
It's so refreshing.
Yeah.
Right? Nab does not like to be wet or cold.
No, he doesn't.
Weather Unfiltered coming your way. We are closely watching the potential for development of something tropical off the southeast coast.
Yeah, and we've been making a nasty habit of doing this.
I was going to say, I feel like we've done this before, Dr. Nab.
On a weekly basis. I mean, Chantal and Dexter formed off of fronts off the southeast coast. Invest 93L that tried to develop that you went to Orlando for.
Yeah.
It's just been this nonstop barrage of these fronts that even if they don't cause development, cause a lot of rain. Yeah.
It's always something to watch. And it's that time of year where it's not just that thing to watch, but we've got other things to watch. Back off the coast of Africa, those tropical waves starting to get a little bit more suspicious. You've got your magnifying glass out. You're looking at it like an investigator.
They're getting easier to see, though. Those waves are getting feisty, and there's one that the Hurricane Center is watching, giving it a 50% shot, but there's a couple waves behind that could cause trouble.
All right, we're going to take a look at the thing off the coast that could form, the things off the coast of Africa as well. So you're in the right spot if you want some updates on hurricanes. In the meantime, a lot of you in the southeast really experiencing some crummy weather.
Aberdeen, so you're going to get your chances here soon enough. That's the stuff that was to the north and east. There's the stuff that was to the east. Still dealing with plenty of severe storms into southeast North Dakota and northeast South Dakota. But again, west of Aberdeen, we've seen a little bit more storm activity fill in. These are severe, and look, as expected, as the future radar showed us, we also have some storms showing up near Pierre this hour. All right, here's our tornado warnings, including one new one right on the northern side of this, just over into North Dakota. Marshall and Roberts County here under this tornado warning until 8:30 Central Time. So that would be north and east of Britain. Near Rutland, we've got another tornado warning. So along this same line, we're seeing some areas of Spinn, Richland, and Sargent counties, Lidgerwood and Rutland and Widemere, in some of those communities in the path of this one. First area of rotation, again, just to the west of Veblen. Next area of rotation would be right there around Rutland. So pretty well-defined area of circulation here along 11. This is off to the east of 32. This is heading towards Ransom, moving right along 11 as it moves pretty much due east. Rutland and Ransom and Cayuga and Kingston and Lidgerwood, just a few of the communities in the path of this tornado warned storm. Another tornado warning down here south of central McPherson. It is McPherson County under the tornado warning until 8:30. In addition, we've got several severe warnings, some of these with considerable threat tags for very large hail. So our area of rotation right here in the middle of the tornado warning zone. This is going to be moving off towards the east, towards Watonka. Watonka right now not included within that tornado warning. We'll see if that gets extended. Severe thunderstorm warnings approaching the I-29 corridor here. We've got Clark and Cottington and Day counties. Again, Florence, Fuller, just a few communities here. Interstate 29, though, very much in play here, both in South Dakota and North Dakota in the short term. As expected, storms are getting going into the central and southern part of the state. You can see Future Radar does show those storms get going, and we'll be watching Minnesota, southeastern South Dakota, parts of Iowa and Nebraska tomorrow morning. Omaha could have a very stormy mid to late morning, Mike.
All right, Alex, thank you very much.